Well, in our first part of a four-part series, talking with Dennis Horr, Faith 401k and money management, we're focusing on the business. How did he get into it? How did this all begin? We're going to tell you his story starting now. Welcome in. This is Dollars with Dennis. I'm Ben George with Dennis Horr. He is founder and president of Faith 401k and money management. Dennis, welcome in. I'm glad to see you here on YouTube. Great to be with you. We're going to do a four-part series. I want to kind of begin with the business. We'll talk about you a little bit, focus on the client some, and then also your planning process. We'll get into that a little bit deeper as well. So welcome in. How are you?
Thank you. Doing great.
Good to talk to you. I want to start with the business because it's always fascinating to hear how people get in their specific industries and how they kind of find their way in their career. What inspired you to become a financial planner?
First and foremost, I decided early on I didn't want to milk cows the rest of my life. Growing up on a dairy farm, so that was getting a wrestling scholarship got me off the farm and got into business from there. It was a long road, but that was the first motivation.
That's pretty cool. Did you always have an interest in money and finance? Was that always something that you were curious about?
Yeah, money, because we didn't have any, and finances, was good with numbers. So math came really easy to me. So that was a plus going that direction, and did a lot of kind of moves in the business before I actually ended up where we are today. So did some corporate climbs, lived in Lexington, lived in Louisville, back to Lexington, came here, and then eventually the next promotion was to Dallas Fort Worth, and I flew down 3 times. I think this was just so crazy. When I got there driving, I realized how far away it was from here and from everybody I knew and my family. So I went in on Monday and told my boss that I couldn't stay in Dallas, and I quit and drove back here. And at that point, I went independent. Now, fast forward 25 years, and my boss then is retired and moved back to the area, and now is a client of ours. So,
Wow, full circle.
full circle.
That's pretty cool. So that's probably one of those big risks, or just it's kind of stepping off into the unknown and not really knowing. But I guess it sounds like everything worked out kind of as you imagined or as you wanted it to. It sounds like.
Eventually,
Yeah.
you make enough mistakes, you figure it out.
Well, what does being a financial advisor mean to you personally?
Yeah. So being able to help people, take care of people, being an advisor is way more than you think it is. It's a counselor. It's a marriage counselor, a money counselor. It's an emotional counselor. So people get invested in their money, and coaching them through different scenarios is a big job as a financial advisor.
So how would you describe your approach to financial planning? What kind of makes Faith 401k a little bit different?
Personal. So we want to know our clients. We want to know what their hotspots are, what they want to have happen, what they want from an advisor, and how we can get them there the best way, with a personal touch. We don't want to be a factory just spitting out stuff. We want to know each and every client, just what their goals are and what the best way to get there is.
So tell me about the Faith 401k. I know Faith is obviously a big part of the business and what you do, but kind of what's the motivation behind the name?
Always a story, right? So I had a partner so my last name is Horr, Horr, and many years ago, I think 2013, we were discussing as we left a bigger firm what the name would be, and she asked if I had a problem with putting Faith on the door at that point. And I said, well, it's probably better than putting Horror on the door. So that was the start. And really, I said I was not was never very open about my faith in the business. I was kind of kept those separate all the time. So when we did that, it was pretty eye-opening. Over the next couple of years, the relationship with clients changed. It got deeper. And for a long time, I couldn't figure out what caused that. But then looking back, they had more confidence in me because I was a faithful person.
Is that something you guys talk about in meetings, and does that come up? I know it sounds like that's something maybe that attracts people to you, but is that something that they openly speak to you about?
Yeah, if they want to, it's never anything that I bring up to them. I mean, we have it all over the office, and we have a cross when you come in. So just says Faith 401k and money management on it. So with the invitations there, but we're not doing anything to entice somebody to deepen their faith or whatever. But we try to use biblical principles in our investing and how we manage money, how we coach people with their planning, stuff like that. The line that I incorporated, right or wrong, is it's not a right. It's not a right thing. It's not a wrong thing. It's a God thing. And there's so many things in life happens, and now my wife and I would just shorten it to that's a God thing.
Yeah, I like that. We can learn more at 401k.faith. What's the most rewarding part of your work in this industry, would you say? Is it the connection with people? What really truly motivates you and keeps you inspired?
Seeing them retire. So we get people 5, 6, 7 years to retirement and start that process, and so many things have to happen in the day they can retire. They come in here, they sign some paperwork. We want to have a little mini celebration with them, hitting their hot spot. But that's the rewarding part, getting somebody to starting in a successful retirement.
I love that. Well, again, you can learn more at 401k.faith. And Dennis, I guess that first kind of meeting is a good place for people to get to learn a little bit more about you, right? What all goes into that first conversation you have with folks?
Yeah, just opening up. I'm usually asking more questions they are and do that, but lots of learning, because most people don't know what they don't know. So I have to ask lots of questions, what they want to accomplish, when they want to retire, what's that going to look like to them? They're going to travel. They're going to go golfing. What's retirement like to you, right? So that's different for everybody. When is it? How do we get there? And so many people don't know anything about getting started, and that's why we're here.
Yep, it's a big part of why you work with a financial advisor. And Dennis, again, is the founder and president of Faith 401k and Money Management. You can get all the contact info down in the show description. This is going to be a 4-part series. We're going to talk about Dennis personally a little bit coming up next. In our next installment, we'll also talk about the clients that he works with specifically, and also get a little bit deeper into that planning process so you can kind of see how it's unique from other places in the business. So a lot still to come. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. We appreciate your support there. Dennis, as always, great to talk with you.
Thank you.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Osaic Wealth, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Osaic Wealth is separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Osaic Wealth.